Hello everyone, it's patch day, and you know what that means. We are going to break down the patch. We're going to talk about gun balance changes that Big Box has released, and then we're going to talk about all the changes that they have not talked about but have actually been released into this game, and those are going to be really exciting. Let's get into it. This is footage from a professional scrim, really VIP scrims against the best players in the world, literally the best team in the world, Fugitives, and you know, they're monsters. But it's really exciting because we can use all these really cool weapons here. The meta has changed, y'all. The meta has changed. Let's get to it.
Fucked him up, really hurt him. $78. Woo. I'm hurt though, but they're hurt.
Oh my god, no way.
I fucked him up. I hit him with double 78s there.
No shit.
Socko's back, G! Socko's back! That was Socko. Gold Socko on the drum.
No way. Oh my god.
No way, bro.
That's a goddamn duo.
Alright, so that was just from today, but let's get to something really cool, the community spotlight. Chris Devi from the Love Population 1 Facebook group has released a competition for map builders. They are awarding a Quest 3 Bobo VR M3 Pro strap. So if you have a Quest 3 and you don't have a strap for it, this is your ticket. Alright, there are rules, but very limited ones. They just want you to come up with something really cool, and it has to say the name Love Pop on it, right? It has to be created from the ground up for this competition, and it has to be submitted by December 21st, all right? You have to be a member of this Facebook group. This is not the main Population 1 community Facebook page. No, this is a different one, all right? This one is Love Population 1, and here is the page for it. You have to search for it. It is kind of down on the list when you search for it, so when you search and you type in Love Population 1, scroll down a bit, but you'll find it, all right? Alright, let's get to the December 6, 2023 change list. Alright, this patch came out a day ago, but I couldn't release this sooner because Steam VR was broken for a day, but Go Big Box, they fixed it really fast. So that was awesome. Go Big Box, thank you for fixing it so I can play this game. So let's get to the good stuff. Let's skip all the monthly stuff and go right to the important stuff. So for gameplay, the camera eye position is now lower and better matches eye height on characters. Okay, this is huge because this is going to affect a couple things. First off, it seems to affect how you peek. Everyone who's peeking now is more exposed, so it's more dangerous on a peek. And I think that's a healthy thing. And this is coming from someone who head peeks every single fight pretty much when he's playing seriously. So I like this, okay, and that will help essentially balance peeking in this game. So welcome that. I think, you know, there should be more to shoot at when someone is peeking. I think blind firing is even more important now with this change, and so you should learn how to blind fire really well. So very cool. But you know what's interesting is that for me, because they lowered the eye position, it almost feels harder to climb, okay? And now I don't know if this is only like a Valve Index thing, but it's really hard for me to climb and throw my character up now. So they've made this game less vertical, in my opinion, at least for the Valve Index. Some people are saying this is happening on the Quest 2 as well, as in they're struggling for climbing. And I don't like that because the whole point of this game is for flying and climbing and playing vertically, all right? But when they make changes like this, they really reduce the movement. And I think it's this that is reducing the movement. There's no other explanation on these changes that makes sense for why it's hard to throw up and climb. It just reduces the likelihood of you wanting to do a vertical fight because it's physically harder to climb now and slower. So I don't like this change for that part at least, but I do like it for the peeking. So it balances peeking but makes movement a lot worse, and that's not good. So getting to the gun balance changes. Now these are really interesting. The Socko got an increase in base damage of 5, okay, 55 to 60. The M60 got decreased minimum damage from 20 to 18. That means when you go back as far as the gun will go before it shoots at the lowest damage possible, it will shoot at 18s instead of 20 damage. So a slight nerf in terms of damage. Very slight. Honestly, that doesn't really affect how I use it, the M60, that is, okay? But the M60 got a juicy buff, and we'll talk about that after we talk about the buffs that they told us, because we'll get over, you know, all the good stuff after this. But the MK18, according to this sheet, got increased by base damage from 23 to 25 in the maximal optimal range for damage, as in where it will do the most damage. It got 2-point damage increase, and the minimum damage at farthest range, the farthest effective range, is increased by 1 damage. That's great. Okay, sure, we'll take increased damage. Awesome. But we have more to talk about this gun later, all right? But let's get to the Magnum. The Magnum got increased base damage from 55 to 63. Really cool, according to this sheet. More to tell on that in a second. And then MP9 has an increased rate of fire, as in almost 1 more bullet per second. And this is interesting, but we'll talk about what this really means. It looks like a buff, and it feels like a buff when you're in the game. The actual math for this is kind of interesting. I did the math, and the old body shot time to kill is 0.725 seconds. You can kill someone in 0.725 seconds with the old body shot MP9. Now it's 0.696 time to kill. So if I round up, it's essentially 0.03 second faster time to kill, which is really not that much. But what I think helps is, I don't know, it just feels smoother when you're shooting it. I don't know if that half a bullet actually makes a difference, but people are using this gun a lot now, at least as of today, for testing, and it's slapping really hard. I think the biggest benefit of this gun is it breaks build in 3 bullets too, so it's also really strong for build break. And so this rate of fire increase is going to obviously make it do more damage, but it's also going to increase the way it breaks build. So slight buff to an already good weapon. So I think this is really going to be up there now in terms of usability and tier. Very cool. So let's get to quality of life. When microphone is turned off on your headset, it will now show in-game on the general settings. Okay, great. So hopefully they're helping microphone issues. Always a good thing. The victory screen. Confetti now follows the player while walking around. I didn't notice this, but that's kind of cool. Sandbox map creation limits have been increased. Players may now have 30 published maps and 100 drafts. I think that's crazy if you've made 30 maps. Power to you, but I'm sure some people will really appreciate that because a lot of people love map making. Cool. Let's say it. All right, bug fixes. Climbing. Fixed grabbing and wall turning, causing players to clip into walls. Okay, no one likes clipping and getting stuck into walls, all right? That's cool, but maybe this is the part where they messed up climbing. Fixed grabbing a wall and turning. Okay, well, it didn't say it fixed anything vertical. It's just turning. But cool. All right, bug fix, great. Downstate, fixed issue where moving in real life and dying near a wall could clip the player inside a collider. Okay, we hate that. Everyone hates when you get stuck in a wall. Great. All right, everyone, the fun part now, the ninja buffs. What big box is not telling you? Now, I don't know whether it's because it's a communication breakdown between the people who are making the changes and the people who are reporting the changes, but regardless, there are always changes that they make to the game that they do not tell you about. So I went in game on stream, and we found this out together, and I went through every weapon, and I tested it. Know that there are... If I'm not reporting a ninja buff change to you, know that it was just too minor for me and the people in my stream to notice when we were actually testing this out on the live stream. Okay, and do stop by the live stream on TikTok. Did I say TikTok? The live stream on Twitch if you want to check this out. But let's get to it. So the MK18, this baby got so much buffs, it's kind of unbelievable. Okay, first off, it has a recoil buff. The recoil is easier to control, specifically the vertical recoil. Okay, now you can go watch my masterclass video for this MK18 in my masterclass playlist, and it will show you how to control the recoil, as in laser beam the 3-bullet burst, and it can be done. It's very difficult to do at long range, and I tried to do this in competition today, and it didn't really work out for me. But regardless, it has a recoil buff. Number 2, it has a faster rate of burst fire. What that means is the speed between each of the 3-shot bursts got increase so you can fire the bursts faster, which means overall much faster time to kill. Now I will note that it's not really easy to just start spamming it and laser beaming all your shots. It's going to take practice, but it can be done, okay? So really cool, as in the overall weapon got a major buff because of this rate of fire increase for the bursts. Now the reason why it's really cool is because there is no random recoil pattern. Before TKO Zone Killer, a good dude, showed us how to use this MK18 in a masterclass video, which you can go back and watch. I'll keep that old one for now. And he thought there was a little bit of randomness in the recoil pattern, and he knew it better than me, so I had to take his word for it. Well, now I can confirm that there is zero randomness in the recoil, okay? And you can watch the video. I'll show you a video clip right after this that shows you. But that's great because that means we can master the recoil. If you've been with this channel for a long time, you know that when I say there is no random recoil, or you know that we can master this weapon. And when I say master, we can laser beam it if you want to take the time to learn it, okay? It will take learning because it's not easy. You can't just pick it up and laser beam at long range and shoot the burst at maximal speed. It's not going to happen like that. There will be a learning curve, and so it's not overpowered. And it's not overpowered also because you still cannot really one-hand peek with this. The recoil is too much to really, peek over a wall with this and laser beam all three of your bullets from a burst. Like, I don't think that's going to happen no matter how much you practice. And I wouldn't say it's worth it right now because peeking in general is just not as good. So know that this is not a broken weapon now. This is probably now a usable weapon and a viable weapon, but it's certainly not overpowered. It has a play style, and I think we're going to have to devote a whole video to this weapon because it is that different, and now it actually has a niche. Now the blue, if it wasn't obvious, the blue highlighted kind of bullets here are the ones that are the ninja buffs. Now the damage increase is what Big Box noted in the change list earlier. So with all of these things here, the MK18 is now a solid weapon. So rejoice if you love this weapon. You can use it, and I wouldn't call you a fool. So let's get to the video clip for this weapon now.
I'm pretty sure the MK18 got a buff to the rate of fire and a buff to the recoil. This is way faster, yo. This gun is actually usable. It's actually usable. Things. I need to see how bad the recoil is, and I see if there's randomness. Okay, stop. Y'all are fucking with me here. Come on, chill. Wow, I don't think there's any randomness whatsoever right now. Whoa, you see that? There is essentially zero randomness. Okay, now before what's his name? TKO Zone Killer, who was like devoted to mastering this weapon, and he shared secrets with me, and we've made a video on it. He thought there was a little bit of randomness before, just a tad bit, and now I just don't think there is any. That was just my first two shots. I think this got major buffs.
Right. So the MP9, very quickly, there is no ninja buffs for this weapon, but I did want to go over the time to kill with you for it very quickly, and I calculated this on stream, and so the body shot time to kill was 0.725 seconds at its closest range where it'll do the most damage. Now it's 0.696. So if you round it up and all that goodness, it's 0.03 second time to kill difference, improvement. Lower is better, you kill the person faster, okay? And that's great. So it got a slight bit buff to the body, and it's really kind of the same thing for the headshot time to kill as well. The math there is 0.595 time to kill for all headshots. You hit every single headshot in theory, right? The old time to kill for headshots. Now it's 0.57 seconds. But in all seriousness, a one-handed weapon that you can peek with in the close range that kills someone in 0.57 seconds or even 0.7 seconds is a serious weapon, all right? This weapon is legitimate, And when I make a tier list, which is going to happen, this is going to be up there on it, okay? Not only does it have this awesome time to kill going for it, but what is less mentioned is that it only takes 3 bullets to break a build, all right? So with that, it's really an amazing weapon. It got a very minimal buff and rate of fire, let's be serious, but all of that just slightly helps. And I think this weapon was already strong. People were starting to figure it out. Against DT players, this is the only real other counter besides another, DT in the close range. So a great weapon. The M60. If you don't know, for whatever reason, I am the #1 M60 player. I can say that with confidence. And the M60, yes, got a damage nerf, but it got a huge nerf. I'm sorry, it got a huge buff to breaking build, all right? It takes 2 shots to break a build. This game has changed. M60 is back on top. It is like the king of weapons, except for the AWP, but it is like probably second in line. Right? In terms of ninja buffs, the FAL, holy crap, okay? Nothing was mentioned about the FAL in the patch notes, and this is really, really interesting. So, aside from the MK18, the most changed weapon, I think, this patch was the FAL, which is kind of crazy. Like, so many little things changed with it. And I was just using it recently, the past couple days before this patch update, so I really can feel it, all right? First off, the fire rate cap increased. What does that mean? You can fire the weapon faster. There's really 2 ways to fire this weapon. One is you full press the trigger, and number 2 is you can just slightly tap the trigger, all right? Well, you can do it both ways, and it'll work. The cool thing is now you can do is you can literally pull the trigger either full or just tap. You can pull it faster both ways, either way, and you're going to shoot the gun faster, okay? It's able to shoot faster, and what that means is that it's got a faster time to kill. And the time to kill before was not great, so I think this will put this weapon in line with a lot of the other weapons. Now, having said that, the second change is that, however, when you fire it faster, they programmed randomness into the recoil. So what does that mean? When you fire it at that fast rate of fire, like the maximal rate of fire that you can do it at, all of a sudden the gun will bounce in all sorts of directions that you cannot control. It'll bounce left, it'll bounce right, it'll bounce up, it'll go low. It's got random recoil in it, okay? And we don't like random recoil because that means you're just spraying and praying. You're trying to get lucky, okay? We want to master the weapons in this channel, okay? We want to make you crazy with it. So the interesting thing is that also, although you can fire it faster, you're not going to be able to laser beam the recoil when you do fire it at its fastest rate and almost near its fastest fire rate. So once it goes up, you're going to feel it, okay? And the recoil is going to get heavier the faster you fire it, which is kind of interesting. I like it. Now, on the flip side of this, it got a buff because on the slower shot speeds, there is essentially 0 recoil, okay? So the recoil is easier to manage at the slower shot speed. But the funny thing is, the slow shot speed, when I say is slow, is the old shot speed from yesterday or 2 days ago before this patch. So if you shot the FAL at the old speed that was comfortable and near fastest while being precise, then now when I picked up the FAL, there was 0 recoil at the comfortable rate of fire that I was firing at with full trigger presses and a little bit of weighting so that I would not have, so I would have better aim essentially. So shooting it at a slower comfortable speed will make it so that you have essentially 0 recoil. And so it's a buff, a major buff, because honestly that's fast enough. If you're hitting headshots, you're going to be destroying with this thing because the damage is really respectable at all ranges essentially. But the really cool thing is because it has that really fast fire rate, you can now use this in a little bit closer of a range effectively, because even if it's bouncing around a little bit, as long as you're hitting your target, then you're going to be doing a lot better damage. So know that you can probably use this at a lot closer range now than you could a couple days ago. The optimal range for this has really kind of changed. Before, I wouldn't use this in mid-range, like mid to close range. I would only use it at mid or long range, not mid to close. Now I think you can use this at mid to close range, not close range, but mid to close range, like somewhere in between that, okay? So really exciting. I think this weapon is now one of those that you can spend a lot of time mastering it and you will be rewarded for it, versus it was just a pickup and you pull the trigger and that's it. Okay, now it's still that gun. You can pick it up, pull the trigger, and that's it. But if you really love it, and I know some people that do, you can spend time into learning and mastering it, okay? Really cool.
Whoa, hey-oh, I'm feeling randomness. Whoa, hey-oh. Did you see that shit bouncing around? Wait, hold on. Whoa, hey, I was not doing... There is more randomness. So you're able to shoot it faster, right? But when you're shooting it at its maximal speed, you'll start getting randomness programmed in there. I think that's new. Whoa, it like kind of goes everywhere. See that? Like, I'm not making it go that way. Or I think you can shoot this way faster than you could before. Right, so the recoil now is based on how fast you fire it. So if you shoot it about, but I think the interesting thing is, I think you can shoot the FAL faster than before. I think they increased the fire speed cap, like they raised the fire speed cap on it, so it's able to shoot faster. I don't remember being able to shoot that FAL that fast. That ways to use this practically, since you're here in the stream, is to either be patient and intentionally use just a comfortable fire rate and have really good accuracy. Fire it almost like the old fire rate that we had 2 days ago, or you just increase the speed and then pull it faster, and then you're gonna naturally get more randomness, and it goes a little more everywhere. Okay, and it'll be more obvious when you shoot this. See how it's bouncing around everywhere?
Now the Magnum. The Magnum is very quick. The ninja buff it got is that it's not 63 damage that's reported in the changeless. It's actually 67 damage. So it went from a 55 shot to now 67 shot. 12 damage. Now that's amazing. Now the reason why this is really good practically is because on a 2-star you're doing 90, I believe 93, or somewhere around 90, mid 90 damage, right? Now if you have a purple one, I believe you will be able to 2-shot head kill someone with it. And now the reason why that's great practically is because before, to get that kind of math, you needed a gold Magnum. Now you can pick up a purple one and feel really confident with it, all right? It's got that power. It's got that kick to it now, all right? So know that the Magnum 3-star or higher is a seriously viable weapon now for the close to midish range and close range if you're peeking and can hit your headshots, because this will break build very, very quick. I believe it's 1 shot with the gold. I can't remember if it's 1 shot with the purple now. I haven't tested since the last one, but it's really easy to break build, and if you can kill someone in 2 headshots, that's fantastic. So you have to peek with it, and you got to hit headshots if you really want to kill someone in the close to mid range. But know that I wouldn't call you a fool if you were using this weapon now in this current meta. All right, now here's one I'm not so sure about, the Matadors. VIP Mac, I believe, or Max, I can't remember which one, let me know that this might have changed because he was testing out in a lobby before competition. The 1-star does 20 damage, the 2-star does 24 damage, the 3 does 28, and the 4, 32. We believe, because it's hard to go back and find videos of this and see what the damage increase was, but we believe they bumped the damage of each star level by 2 stars. Like before, the 3-star did as much as the 1-star, if that makes sense. So if someone does want to go dig and find out what the old ones were and compare to this that you see on the screen for what is now in this patch, please let us know if there was a damage buff or if it's the same. We might be tripping. It's been a while. We don't keep track of all these little numbers. We don't use the Matadors often, but hopefully this one got a buff because it seems pretty cool. This does help out the math substantially for a 1-star kill. So that's really cool. So I think the Matadors are even somewhat usable. You have to ground walk with them in the close range, which is really dangerous. But in theory, they do a great time to kill now. So I hope you do enjoy this. Please do leave a like, comment, share, all that great stuff. It's really exciting when we see changes to our game. Otherwise, y'all have a good one. Pink Ponage out.